My name is Jordan Tran. I am currently 16 years old, a junior attending Castro Valley High School in California, and I'm applying to be a NASA Seas intern. While I'd like to talk about why I'm applying, I'd also like to talk a little bit about myself first. I was born and raised in Castro Valley, about a 30-minute drive from San Francisco. Some of my interests include basketball, listening to music, especially collecting vinyls, watching movies, of which I keep a log of and actually rate the ones I watch, cubing, and the past couple months I've really taken an interest in photography. Fun fact, my first ever paycheck was spent on the camera shooting this video right now. As a Bay Area native, I've been surrounded by some of the biggest tech innovations to come out of the area, from Apple and Google starts in Silicon Valley, all the way to OpenAI's offices in San Francisco. I've always been naturally inclined to STEM, and seeing the opportunities granted here has made me really want to work in the STEM field, and especially drove me to pursue many of my STEM extracurriculars, not just for college, but because I am truly passionate about the work that I actually do. There's one movie I believe changed my life, which I watched in 7th grade, and that was The Theory of Everything, released in 2014, which was a Stephen Hawking biopic about his life and included some of the astrophysics work he did in Cambridge. There were two reasons for how this changed my life. First, being that it reinforced my love for movies and appreciating the medium, but more significantly, it created the genuine spark for my love of science, and at the time, astrophysics. For the first time in my life, I started researching and looking at this whole new field outside of school. I both purchased and borrowed various books from teachers and in the library on astrophysics. From A Brief History of Time to Einstein's dice and Schrodinger's cat, this really did kick off a love for natural science, and not only learning about how things work beyond the Earth, but also learning about the science that makes up our planet. I channeled this love through my participation in Science Olympiad. I began in 4th grade, winning 3rd place at regionals in 2 out of the 3 events I competed in, and I continued it in my sophomore and junior year. I competed in events such as astronomy, optics, wind power, and robot tour. Robot tour in particular was my favorite event, as I was tasked to build, wire, and program a robot that could traverse a near maze-like course while being able to drive with pinpoint accuracy. I ended up doing really well in my first ever high school competition, getting 1st place against the team who won nationals last year, and placing top 5 in 8 competitions over 2 years. One of the reasons why I love this event so much, and what I attribute much of my success to, is probably my experience with FIRST Robotics. I'm currently the team captain of my school, and I lead about 50 students to build a competition robot in 3 months. However, I started out my journey as a freshman who didn't really know what he wanted to do in high school. I joined the robotics team at my school initially because my friend was doing it, but I was so drawn to the idea of physically designing and creating something tangible to actually solve problems. I ended up being the programmer for my small freshman team, and together we built a robot that could pop balloons, similar to the battle mode in Mario Kart. This was at the time the coolest thing I've ever made, and I was immediately hooked. Our robot that year competed in San Francisco, where we went up against teams from all over the world, in a game where it was tasked to pick up cones and cubes. The following year, I was made electrical lead for the team, and I worked on designing and wiring the electrical systems and components that made up the robot. One of my most stressful moments at the time was when our entire electrical system went down the day before competition. I spent 20 hours over the course of 3 days to fix it, as our entire season was depending on whether or not our robot would actually work. But we persevered, placing in the top 30% of our regional competition. It was definitely a brutal experience and mentally taxing, but I also believe it was one of the most rewarding experiences of high school so far. The relief of being able to finish a project under pressure and actually have it produce results alongside my peers is unlike any feeling I've ever had, and solidified why I want to pursue this type of work as a career, which is where the Seas internship comes in. I do have a genuine passion for STEM, and am both trying my absolute hardest to pursue an education in it, as well as being able to contribute my skills to a project that is much greater than myself. I've taken several computer science classes, taking 2 years of engineering where I learned to write in C, 2 college-level classes where I've learned to grow my skills in Python and C++, and learned Java through AP Computer Science. I am also genuinely interested in taking part of the research projects under Seas, as I'm currently in the middle of a research project for the Alameda County Science Fair. I've actually really enjoyed my time conducting research for my own project, and especially the fact that my research can be used to benefit others and make healthcare more accessible. For Seas projects, I would love to use the datasets to actually create a positive impact on others. Being a Seas intern will allow me to apply my technical skills of both programming and my passion for science to actually work with peers who have the same interests and ambitions as me, as well as working under NASA mentors, which I would be incredibly interested in working with for research projects beyond the Seas program. Seas would be vital in helping me pursue my goal of being an engineer, fulfilling my prior interests in astronomy and natural science, and providing me the next step of my journey of what and how I want to contribute to the world in the future. Thank you for taking the time to consider me for the NASA Seas internship, and I would be forever grateful to be accepted into this program.